Now, next, incredibly fun, not sustainable. So now, by not sustainable, these teams, either one of them could absolutely make the playoffs. But for the
make the playoffs.
Yeah, they could make the playoffs.
They're making
the playoffs.
Sorry,
but are the Vikings going to be this both sides of the ball juggernaut? Of course not. Is all year long? Is Washington going to be able to continue to be an offense-only team when the offense is led by a rookie 190-pound quarterback? Probably not. But they are incredibly fun right now, what Minnesota's doing defensively and what Justin Jefferson does and what Washington's doing week after week on offense. Not long-term sustainable, but fun.
Yeah. So, let's talk about this, Washington Commanders. Hear that? Jayden Daniels, not sustainable, 190-pound quarterback, just not that good. He moved him up in the QB rankings before, and I'm sure a lot of people were excited about it. I highlighted it. But we know his real thoughts, and he said it before, right? He can't stand that Jayden Daniels is better than Caleb Williams right now. And we know without a shadow of a doubt, if Caleb Williams was doing what Jayden Daniels was doing right now, there would be banners. There would be banners. There would be, some sort of Chicago, something unique to Chicago's music that would be playing, right? They have the Prince, they have the horns, the Saints come marching in, like they have all that. The Miami Dolphins have the breakdancers. I mean, it would be just an absolute all-out party. But it's Jayden Daniels, and it's not sustainable. His ability to throw the ball is not sustainable. His hyper-intelligence is not sustainable. His ability to read defenses is not sustainable. His ability to be calm, cool, and collected in less than ideal circumstances is not sustainable. His ability to face blitzes and pressure is not sustainable. His ability to outrun nearly every single person on the field is not sustainable. I guess he's just not sustainable. Yeah, I guess, Troy Aikman, when he did that game against the Bengals, who was just blown away by everything Jayden Daniels was doing, was just, I guess, literally Troy Aikman is just confused, right? I guess so. Which I'm sure, Washington Commanders fans maybe think so, since he's obviously Cowboys. But I mean, right, and they might make the playoffs. Because I guess that means they're just going to collapse, right? They're just going to collapse. They're just going to get rocked by the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants, I guess, right? They're just it's just done so for them. Yeah, right. I know not everyone is good with sarcasm, unfortunately. That's actually a real thing. Not everyone gets sarcasm. So let me just say this very clearly. I'm being sarcastic for those of you who maybe don't know. Listen, am I going to tell you that the Washington Commanders are a juggernaut team and that nobody can stop them and that Jayden Daniels is leading this team to the, the Super Bowl, and he's going to win the MVP and the Super Bowl MVP and the Rookie of the Year all in the same year? That would be quite wild. That would be extraordinary. But, unfortunately, no, that's not what I'm predicting. But the lack of respect is laughable, right? Incredibly fun, not sustainable. I mean, I don't fully get it. I really don't. I get to a degree that they've only beaten such amazing teams, right? Like I get that, because I am a huge proponent of looking at who are you playing and who are you beating, right? Like and how is that other team playing? Because you can beat a really great team, but if that team is obviously just playing, they just didn't play good. It was just not a good game, right? They were not prepared, whatever it may be. Then I'm like, I don't say, well, they beat that team, right? I am not you are what your record is. And that just seems to be the most common theme throughout the season that people are obsessed with. That's personally not me. But when you see how the Washington Commanders are playing, okay, they are so well coached. They are so well prepared. Jayden Daniels, Dan Quinn, and Cliff Kingsbury, that trio right now, just know how to pull all the strings. They know exactly what they want to do in any given moment. And listen, here's the reality. I like the way the Commanders had played defense against the Bengals. And the Bengals still have a high-powered offense to a degree. And quite frankly, the Bengals looked more ruthless against the Ravens. And if it wasn't for that bad interception, the Ravens lose that game. And the Ravens are, second from the, they're second in the rankings. So again, this idea even that we can just say, oh, well, the Washington Commanders defense is just awful. Yeah, it's not their strong suit. I get that. And I don't disagree with that, right? But it's just still just not really telling the whole story. Not to mention, yeah, this is an offensively led team with an unbelievable quarterback, with an unbelievable offensive mind in Cliff Kingsbury, and they are playing big time. They are playing big time. So the constant undercutting is just cry me a river about it, man. Incredibly fun, not sustainable. And you know what's funny? Here's reality though. I don't even think the rankings themselves in terms of where they are is the worst thing, because he's pretty much saying that this is going to pop. Yeah, they are where they are right now, but they're going to go down, right? He thinks Sam Darnold, because you can see they're all on the same level as the Minnesota Vikings, and he thinks that Sam Darnold is just absolutely going to turn into a pumpkin and pop, which therefore the Minnesota Vikings are going to plummet. So he thinks that the Washington Commanders are also going to plummet. So even if we looked at it right now, with just actually and took away, the titles, definitions, whatever the labels are, I would say that it's not the worst thing, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? They're 7 or 8 best, right? Which I think is totally fair, because the Ravens are the Ravens, the Texans, right? Some of these other teams have more of an established history. They obviously have more experience, maturity, all that. So it's like, that's not even the problem, quite frankly. I think that's totally fair. I don't get hung up on exact numbers. Honestly, I really don't. I put all of these teams in groups and chunks rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hate numbering teams and quarterbacks. It makes no sense to me personally. So that already makes all of these lists always very frustrating to me, and people are just obsessed with their lists. But I will just say that the number itself is not the worst thing. It's the idea that it's not sustainable and that they're just going to pop, and that you can't rely on Jayden. I mean, that's what you say. You can't rely on Jayden Daniels, this 190-pound quarterback. It's a subtle jab, but it's there, right? It is a true lack of belief. When, again, Caleb Williams has a couple good games, and it's throwing a party. And again, I don't think Caleb Williams is bad. I really don't. So I'm not trying to pull down Caleb Williams. It's just the inconsistency of opinions, of evaluation. It's an inconsistency of evaluation, right? That's the issue that I have with more than anything. If you brought the same energy to celebrating, say, the Chicago Bears, or any of some of these, a couple of these other teams, then you would be having the Washington Commanders way high. And at least you could say they're ranked 7th right now. I don't know where they're going to go. They're probably going to face some adversity, have some issues as the season progresses. But I think what they're doing is great, right? It's the not sustainable. That's where it's like, interesting. And it's not only because of the defense, but it's also because of that little weak, skinny, 190-pound, quarterback who's just a little weakling. He can't lead an offense. He can't overcome any types of adversity. Yeah, again, for those of you who don't know, it's called sarcasm. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders being fun, incredibly fun, but not sustainable? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.